Cool.
Okay. So the first section is the TSA job. So it wants me to ask you guys, so what do you think it would be like to work as a TSA agent?
I think it'd be stressful, honestly. Well, I just depends. Like I feel like they're all relaxed, but I feel like putting up with people's crap would really not be fun.
Mhm. Yeah, not for me, but for sure. Mhm.
And has either of you ever had this job?
No, I haven't. My
And
mom,
so,
oh, I was
oh,
gonna say my mom works for Delta Airline, and so she has to put up with people's stuff all the time. And so based off of some of her stories, I just don't think it'd be a very fun position.
yeah. So imagine that this is your job. What would you like and dislike about it?
What did you say?
So imagine that being a TSA agent is your job. What would you like and dislike about
Well, I think that, I mean, it seems like you'd probably have to be on the ball all the time,
the
but
job?
like, I'm sure they don't have many incidences. And so it's kind of one of those jobs where if you mess up, usually it's pretty critical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some of the downsides is like kind of what Catherine was mentioning. Like, there's a lot on the line if you do make mistakes and stuff like that. And um, I think dealing with people that were being a little bit ornery about the people trying to catch their flights, going through last minute, and all of a sudden it's your responsibility to make sure they get to their flight on time. And so I think that would be a little bit stressful. But I think some of the positives of the position is like me. I don't really believe in TSA. I don't really believe in their purpose. I think it's kind of silly. Like I do understand like what they are trying to avoid because we don't want an incident like the 9/11 to happen again, but I feel like the way that they go about it is not really the best. And so for me, like it may not be like the most ideal job, but I feel like for like a true patriot, like go get 'em American would be like kind of a good job, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So, Brenton, what do you think that what should O'Reilly do about Sanchez? And just kind of give me like a small explanation.
Um, I think like I don't know. I think it's like we were learning about self-esteem in our development class, and I think it's like kind of this. I'll like apply it to that, but like people figure out for themselves like how to measure themselves in comparison to other people, and so like in this instance, I know it's kind of a different example, like a different way to apply it, but like he doesn't need anybody to tell him he's already screwed up. Like he has social referencing to do that for him, and
Yeah.
so it's like he's already figured out that he made his mistake. And so I don't think any form of punishment, I don't think any form of like really anything's going to fix it other than like the incident itself. I think he already learned his lesson. And so I think it's one of those things where maybe make an example. So, you have to, take a day off of work or whatever, reevaluate everything. But, I think he probably already learned his lesson from the experience.
No, I totally agree. Catherine, what are your thoughts?
They're pretty similar. I don't think that she should fire him.
Do
I
you
mean,
think, well, if he is fired, who do you think would replace him?
someone who's not as dedicated as he is, most likely. Um, I don't know. I think if they were to just kind of take it as a team and all kind of retrain themselves on what the rules are and why we have them,
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be good enough. Like Brennan said, I feel like he understands the seriousness of his mistake.
Yeah. So, Brenton, do you think that a discipline without punishment approach is appropriate in this case?
I would think so. I mean, from the readings, it sounds like it's kind of the way to do things anyways, but it's like, I think he's had minimal, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. He's had like minimal incidents or whatever. I think he had like one incident that they brought up in the case study, but it's like it's not like he's a bad employee by any means. So it's just like, okay, here, we're gonna, approach this. Here's your warning. Here's some of the things that you need to do differently. And if you keep your end of the agreement, like this file, like no worries, like we'll throw it out. And I think it's just that simple.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree too. So, what do either of you, well, you both need to answer, but was the security breach entirely Sanchez's fault? Why or why not?
I mean, I think other people could have caught it, but the fact that he was on the phone during work is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
That's kind of my thoughts too. Like, I don't know how TSA is structured. I think they have like a picture of it in the case study, but I didn't really look at it. But I'm sure that there's other people that may have been able to pick up on it, but they obviously they didn't. And if it's his responsibility to not be on the phone, then he shouldn't have been on his phone.
Sorry, I'm looking at the next question. So, in what ways did the TSA contribute to the breach?
What was that?
In what ways did the TSA contribute to the breach? And what could they have done better to prevent this situation?
Contribute?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. I think there's two things come to mind. Is they may not enforce their rules. Like maybe it's been like kind of a cultural thing where people have been taking phone calls, and so that's one thing that they could approach. But also, if it's up to one person to make sure nobody slips through the gate, I feel like there should be like some sort of like sensor or monitor or like something that like is a safeguard. Because like humans are not necessarily perfect, and we can't expect them to perform to perfect standards all the time. And so for them to not have any sort of safety against safety measures, it was kind of silly in my opinion.
Catherine?
I don't know. Those are great insights. I don't know if there's much more I can add, but
do you think there are appropriate policies in place to prevent a security lapse in the future?
Sure there are, but I don't know, kind of like what we were saying at the beginning, that there's like 1 in a million chance that there's actually going to be a terrorist that's wanting to bomb a plane. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, of course they have to be precautious and stuff, but I think casualness after them being so long and not seeing anything is inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just need to retrain.
Yeah.
So this next section of the discussion is role playing. So we're supposed to choose 2 people from our group, but since there's only 3 of us, I'm gonna have you guys role play the discussion between Mina O'Reilly and Ludo Sanchez.
Okay.
Try to choose a woman to play O'Reilly and try to choose a man to play Sanchez. So this works out great. And then it's just telling me to do my best. Sorry, I didn't read over the discussion because I didn't know that I was.
You're fine.
So why don't you guys just go through that discussion, I guess, and I'll listen. And then there's some questions that I'm gonna ask. But basically, the scene is, so I'm gonna observe and think about how well O'Reilly does. And so it says, tell the person acting as O'Reilly that this is the moment when Sanchez is showing up for work. She needs to tell him what her decision is, then have them do the role play.
Sweet.
Okay, this is based on what I feel like she would say.
Yeah.
So I come strolling into work. Either you can fire me or no, I'm just kidding.
So you guys, I'll give you a couple minutes to think about it, and then we'll start.
I'm ready. I feel like I have an understanding of what you'd say.
Okay. Ready, go.
Okay. Hey Sanchez, how's it going?
I've been better. I'm a little bit nervous about everything that's going to take place after our little incident the other day.
Yeah, I actually was coming over to talk to you about that. What?
Honestly, I'm just embarrassed. It was such a silly thing. I meant to just give my daughter a quick call, and to check in and see how things were going. And to be honest with you, I just take full responsibility for what took place. I was just being, a little bit too relaxed on the job, and not taking it serious enough. And so, anyways, I'm not gonna put the blame on anybody else, but I'll take full responsibility for everything.
I'm glad to hear that. You know that taking phone calls is against the company policy, right?
Yeah, of course. And like I said, it was just, honestly, just kind of a moment of weakness. And, one of the things that I don't know, I guess in the moment, I didn't think it was a really big deal, but it just happened to be at the right point in time. And, obviously we saw the consequences of that.
Well, I'm glad it didn't turn out to be any bigger than it was, but so I've kind of been thinking about the situation. I think it would be best if you took the day off today and just kind of, we'll still pay you while you're gone, but just to think about kind of evaluating how you want to represent the company and what. And I think as a company, we're gonna go over our training so that something like this doesn't happen again. Does that sound fair to you?
Yeah, completely. If you want, I really don't need the day off. If you want, I can stay on for the afternoon.
No, I think you really should take this time off.
Perfect. Well, hey, I appreciate you being, at least, understanding of the situation. And, I just want to let you know that I'm fully committed to our purpose here. And, I apologize for any embarrassment it was on your part. And, moving forward, I'll just do my best not to let anything like this happen again.
All right. Thank you, Sanchez.
Sounds good, guys. So since I was observing from an intersection, so what I noticed is that kind of the inflection in both of your tones, I mean, role playing is kind of odd, but I could tell that Catherine was a little nervous. Not like nervous, but I mean, it's hard having those kinds of conversations with your employees. And as an employer, you don't want to hurt anybody, but I think that O'Reilly, so Catherine, I think that you saying all that was the right thing.
You mean I wasn't intimidating? I'm just kidding.
So I think that telling him he needs to take the day off and to redo training is all really smart. I definitely think that this gives him a warning. One thing that I would say that you could have done differently is just be more firm. I mean, it is a role play, so it's not like real deal. Sorry, somebody saw my face. But I just would have been maybe a little more firm, I guess. But I mean, and then, so Catherine, what was difficult for you to say in that conversation?
Well, I kind of felt like Sanchez did what he'd done, and so I didn't want to make him feel like worse about it than he already did. So
how tell someone you respect and care for that he's not performing well?
What?
Like, if you were in a workplace, how would you tell someone that you respect and care for that he's not like performing in the workplace well?
So they're not performing well?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I would ask them how I feel doing first, and kind of because like I think people are pretty aware of things that they can work on. And I also feel like if it comes from themselves, they take it a lot better than from other people.
Yeah.
But I guess I would just let them know how their actions are affecting the company.
So just the final, like in the wrap up. So I want you guys to give me like a final decision about what you guys would have done in the case. So would you have fired Sanchez, put Sanchez on probation, given him a paid leave, or require him to receive additional training?
A day off and additional training.
Yeah, I think that's the first natural response would be for somebody just to hack and get rid of him. But from what I've learned, it just doesn't really work. It doesn't benefit anybody when you do that. But like if you just take the approach of training, maybe providing a few more safeguards against stuff like this happening, I think that would be the most tactful approach for the TSA people.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think, just like you guys did in the role play, that putting him on probation and making him receive additional training is important. I mean, I don't think he deserves a paid leave because he did something super wrong and it could have been really bad. But I agree what you guys said. I think it's the best way to handle that.
Definitely.
So, after you guys have given me my final decision, so what happened is Sanchez got a warning, but was not fired. However, 2 months later, he caused another serious breach. What would you then do?
Ooh.
I personally would fire him because you don't get like second chances all the time.
I would fire him because I feel like at that point he's taking advantage, or maybe this isn't the case, but my guess would be that he's taking advantage of the relationship you have and that you do think highly of him and disregarding the rules.
And so, Brenton, what do you think this case teaches us about discipline?
So, I don't know, just from what I've read, I think the same thing applies. Like that's something that we've been kind of learning, and I think is pretty commonly accepted now, is that some of the punishments, that we've used, to raise kids or whatever the circumstances, they really don't work and they don't benefit anybody. And like in the organization, like it's just human nature for people to get a little bit relaxed in like what they're doing and maybe even kind of lose direction or like purpose in like what they're doing at work. And so my big thing is just like whenever you see like somewhere where somebody could be doing better, like it's your responsibility to recognize, okay, like where can I put my efforts to help this person? I've mentioned that before, but I did that this literally like 2 weeks ago. Like our home teaching in our quorum was not getting reported. And so I did a training under the assumption that, our previous district leaders and everybody's up to speed on what they're supposed to be doing, what their responsibilities are. And I come to find that nobody's been trained, even the previous district leaders, and then especially the new district leaders, like they just didn't know what they were doing. And so it's like, if there's something that's wrong, it's typically not really the people. I feel like the people really do want to serve and to do good, but you have to recognize where you're maybe falling short. So I don't know. I just think it's a good lesson to learn in life.
And so what do you guys think was the most important thing you learned from the case this week?
Just be smart, be kind, be understanding, understand that people are human, and that like you have to give people, because it makes more sense like from a business standpoint to like help somebody that you've already trained, that you've already invested time, money, and effort into. It's like smarter to like try to get them back up to their performing level than to fire them and then have to go through all that with a new person. So it makes sense to at least give people a chance to get back to that standard. And if they're not, like tough, you gotta make the cut at some point. But you can't just go around, or you shouldn't just go around firing people for responsibilities that aren't being fulfilled.
Totally. Catherine, what do you think?
I don't have much to add. I feel like that I feel the same way. So
So how would you guys rate the overall quality of today's discussion? Do you feel like it went well?
It's good.
yeah, I think well, and we did it in a short amount of time, so that's awesome.
Oh, I feel like this is a more straightforward case study than we've been having.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, so next week, so I work on campus, and I guess there's this thing called Patriots and Pioneers, and it's like I honestly don't know what it is, but I do know that I have rehearsals Wednesday through Friday until 10 p.m. So we're either gonna have to meet on Tuesday or like, you know, I'll know tomorrow once I go to work.
If we
Okay.
meet on Tuesday, the earliest I could do is 9 o'clock. Idaho Falls, about 8:30.
Okay. I'm trying to think what my Tuesdays are.
Wait, did you say Tuesday?
Is that what you're, I have rehearsals, like I have to work these rehearsals from Wednesday to Friday. So I could probably find time in the early afternoon on those days, or we can meet Monday or Tuesday.
What about Saturday?
Saturday should work. I'll know better tomorrow once I go in and get my work schedule.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I mean either way is fine. Tuesday is kind of pushing it, but honestly, like since we have the doohickeys and all that stuff, it may not be a bad idea just to get everything done and out of the way with. But that's it really is up to you guys what your guys' time frame is. I'm pretty flexible.
Okay. Well, I will text our group text tomorrow and let you guys know what my boss says and what he needs me. I just have to be flexible because I missed an entire week of work because I was at my family reunion.
Right.
I have to do what I'm told. And my coworker had a health emergency or something, so she left. She's not working. I'm the only one working in the department now. So everything's kind of, which is a little stressful because the semester's winding down and I have like so many things, but so
Cool.
Let us know though.
Yeah, just keep us in the loop.
And we can get something rolling.
Okay.
Perfect. Have a good rest of your day, guys.
Yeah,
Cool.
well. Bye.
Bye, guys.